Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is the Field of 68 After Dark, Sirius XM Channel 84. I'm John Fanta with the wonderful panel, Steve Prohm, Randolph Childress. No, we will not be giving out their addresses tonight for you to send your resume cases in. It is time for the debut of Blind Resume. Here on the Field of 68 After Dark, we're going to give you 2 resumes. You're going to tell me whether you're taking them or whether you're leaving them. Are you guys ready? Are the contestants ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We are ready.
Okay, here we go. Team number 1, get your pencil sharpened. Team number 1, guys, is 17-5. Okay? They are 1-3 against Quadrant 1. They are 2-2 against Quadrant 2. Okay? They are 6-0 against Quadrant 3, and they are 8-0 against Quadrant 4. But they are 1-3 against Quadrant 1. They're 12-1 at home. They've rolled at home. They haven't really shown they can do it on the road. But there's your metrics. Okay? Team number 2 actually has a net ranking significantly lower than them. Team number 2 is 13-7 overall. Team number 2 is 4-5 against Quadrant 1. 0-1 against Quadrant 2. If you remember, our first team was 2-2 against Quadrant 2. This second team is 0-1 against Quadrant 2, 5-1 against Quad 3, and 4-0 against Quad 4. So, which team are you taking?
What were both teams' nets again?
Team 1's net was 49. Team's 2, second team, was 65. Who are you taking? Steve.
I'm going to take team 2.
You're taking team 2. Randolph, who are you taking?
I'm taking team 2.
Team 2 is Creighton. Team 1 is Wake Forest. Cool. Why are you taking team 2, Steve?
Well, now you tell me they're Creighton. Number 1, it's the nine opportunities against the Quad 1. Obviously going to give them more opportunities, but they're 4-5 against Quad 1, and that's 4 Quad 1 wins. And at the end of the day, when you look at the at-large field, which it's going to be 36 at-large teams, how many teams are going to have 5 or more Quad 1 wins? And they're at 4 right now. And so, and then 9-1 against the bottom 3 and 4. But I just, Creighton's beaten Marquette. They've beaten Villanova. They've beaten BYU. They've beaten UConn. Those are 4 really, really good wins right there.
Yep, and beat UConn last night at UConn. The way that they were able to win that game with defense. Ryan Kalkbrenner goes down early in the second half, and you both have said, everybody talks about who we're missing, who we don't have. Greg McDermott says, hey, Ryan Kalkbrenner's down with an ankle injury. I got to play smaller. He plays a freshman, Trey Alexander. His freshman, Arthur Kaluma, stepped up. Ryan Nembhard's just scratching the surface. And guys, 24-year-old Ryan Hawkins was sensational last night. Defensively, Creighton limits UConn to 55 points, and Hawkins goes for 23 and 11. I think Randolph, just a reflection of, Creighton's one of the very few programs in the country. They have won 20 or more games in 21 of the last 23 years. And they're on that track again after losing their entire starting 5 from last year.
Man, we all know the coaching staff there and how great they are. I don't think it's anything going forward. I don't see how they don't get in unless they just freaking collapse.
Yeah,
I mean they're getting in. I mean they're going to get more Quad 1 wins, and it's funny when you were giving the numbers. If I had to guess, I would have guessed that it was Wake, and unfortunately, I don't know how many more Quad 1 wins they're going to be able to get because the conference is so weak and they're just beating teams that nobody really cares about right now. But I think they'll get in, but Creighton should be a higher seed right now. I don't know why they're not in.
Okay. All right, here we go. This is our second question for Blind Resume game. Okay. This is team number 1. Team number 1 has an overall record of 12-7. Team number 1 is 2-4 against Quadrant 1. 1-1 against Quadrant 2. 4-2 against quad 3. They have 2 quad 3 losses, and 5-0 against quadrant 4. Okay. That's team number 1. Okay. Team number 2 is 13-8 overall. 13-8 overall. Team number 2 is 1-5 against quad 1. They have 1 quadrant 1 win. They're 4-2 against quad 2. So they have 4 good enough wins, if you will. 2-1 against quadrant 3. 5-1 against quadrant 4. They have 1 quadrant 4 loss. They only have 1 quadrant 1 win. Okay? Team 1 or team 2?
I'm taking team 1.
Randolph's taking team 1. Steve, who you got?
This one's tight.
Mm-hmm.
The other one, I thought it was. I'm going to
The
go.
only reason I say, Steve, because I'm thinking that you cannot have a quad 4 loss with only 1 quad 4. That's the only reason why I was kind of like, that's a bad loss.
Go.
The one thing when you talk, we say, hey, it's about who you win, not about who you get beat by. But those quad 4 losses do hurt you. Like that does go against you and hurt you. They've played a ton of games. I'm gonna go team 2. I think I know who it is just because you said they're 1-5 earlier against quad 1. But I don't know this team 1 is, but I'm gonna go team 2 just because they're 5-7 overall against the 3-5. But I could go either. Now, that one's really tough.
Team 2 has a higher net by 16. Their net is 43. It's Florida. So Steve is putting Florida in with just 1 quad 1 win and 1 quad 4 loss. Randolph is putting Oregon in the field. So Randolph, you like Oregon over Florida. Steve,
yes.
If you had to decide between the Gators and Ducks, you would take the Gators in this instance. Huh? That's the magic of this game, man. Now, that's why it's the blind resume game, folks. That's why it's the best game.
Hey, but you know what's funny? If you would have done Wake Forest in Florida, I'd have probably taken Wake.
Well, no. You're not.
Listen, no, I'm just saying when you look at these numbers. What's that?
Yeah, I got you. You're a contestant on the game. Yeah, you're not officiating the game. Don't try to do don't try to do James Breeding's job, Steve Prohm. Don't try to do an official's job, Steve Prohm. Okay. Here we go. We got 3 minutes left here on Sirius, and we are playing this game on Field of 68 After Dark Afters, Twitter and YouTube. Okay. Now
the Ducks deserve a bid, though.
Okay, here we go. Team 1. Team 1 is 16-3 overall. They're 1-2 against quadrant 1. So just 1 quad 1 win. They're 2-1 against quadrant 2. They are 6-0 against quadrant 3. They're 7-0 against quadrant 4. Okay? That's team 1. Team number 2, 16-6 overall. Now, I told you guys team number 1 was 16-3. So this team has played 3 more games. They're 16-6. Team number 2 is 0-6 against quadrant 1. Sound the alarm. 0-6 against quadrant 1. They're 4-0 against quad 2. They're 7-0 against quad 3. They're 5-0 against quad 4. Okay. And it bears noting that they're 0-3 on a neutral floor, and they really haven't done much away as well. So, okay. So team 1 or team 2? Team 1 or team 2?
Team 1. It's not even close.
Yeah, team 1.
Okay, team 1 is why
no quad 1 wins is the one that just sticks out to me.
Okay, folks. Team 1 is Wyoming.
North Carolina.
Team 2 is North Carolina.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah, they haven't beat they don't have a quad 1 yet. I mean, they've got a chance. They're gonna have to get Duke. This will help. If they get Duke Saturday, that's a big win for them. Huge.
This is why, though. This is what frustrates people on Selection Sunday. Because if you put Carolina into that last 4 in, and you leave out a team from the Mountain West, and if it's Wyoming, people are going to throw stuff. Okay? Because this is where we talk about money and branding. and the tournament. And there's people out there. I'm not saying us three are. We got a minute left, but this is where Power Conference, ACC, you're in the room. There's some high stakeholders in there. You know, Wyoming doesn't carry the same television rating as North Carolina, but that's not what the tournament's about. If you're a committee member, Steve, we got 1 minute left. You're putting Wyoming in over North Carolina.
Were they were team one? I didn't hear you say that. Wyoming is team one.
Yep.
Yeah, they're in. They're in. They should be in. When you look at these resume right here, I would take Wyoming over North Carolina right now.
How about that? I mean, I'll tell you, this was fun. Blind resume game is really fun, and it just goes to show you the kind of decisions that are ahead of the selection committee here. It's been a fun hour,